You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Ian, look at this.
What, it's a police box? What on earth's he doing here? I mean, these things are usually on the street. Oh, feel it. Feel it, you feel it?
It's a faint vibration.
It's alive.
Earth Station Who, a fun mashup celebrating nearly 50 years of Doctor Who universe. Hold tight, you never know where the TARDIS is going next.
Who are you?
I'm glad you asked that again. Bit of adrenaline, dash of outrage, and a hint of panic knitted my brain back together. I know exactly who I am. I'm the Doctor. Sorting out fair play throughout the universe. Now please, get off this planet while you still have a choice.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Earth Station Who podcast. That's right, folks. We are here to finish up our E-Space Trilogy and talk about Warriors Gate. And, you know, there's nothing really great to talk about with Warriors Gate, but it'll be interesting to see what the rest of these fine folks who are joining us tonight to talk about Warriors Gate. First, we have, of course, Mr. Mike Gordon.
Howdy, Warriors Gate.
How are you, my friend? Warriors Gate.
Just peachy keen, Warriors Gate.
And, of course, we have Mary Ogle, Warriors Gate.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be here, Warriors Gate.
And we have also joining us once again, Michael Falkner, Warriors Gate.
Hello once again, Warriors Gate.
We want to let everybody know what episode we're talking about, Warriors Gate. So it's pretty awesome. You know, there's some things like, you know, subliminal messages that could be going on here. Warriors Gate, though, I don't know.
We're just doing our best, Warriors Gate, to relive the experience of watching this fine serial, Warriors Gate.
Yeah, it was actually kind of sad to see Romana and K9 leave Warriors Gate.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know how long we can go with this. I think people are shutting off our podcast as we
exactly. Good night, everybody. Warriors Gate.
But wait, I just have one question. Which episode are we talking about?
I don't remember. It's something I'm trying to block from my memory. Warriors Gate.
Keep her tracking.
So, yes, and of course we want to hear from you guys at home what you thought of Warriors Gate. So please write us at eswpodcast@gmail.com. Warriors Gate. And of course, we also want to give a huge shout out and thank you for everyone over on our Patreon, because they have been helping support us do wonderful podcasts like this, Warriors Gate. And it's just great to be able to give you guys 48 hours in advance great episodes like this, Warriors Gate, for our subscribers. For as little as 25 cents a week, you can help support the ESO network financially. And, you know, and we help like giving you guys rewards like Warriors Gate. So, you know, it's awesome.
I think we're losing patrons like
as we speak.
Yeah, just don't put this one on the pedestal of things you should expect out of Patreon, Warriors Gate.
No, I would never do that to our wonderful subscribers. I would never torture them with Warriors Gate. So it's great. So, you know, you can help support us. And there's 3 tiers. There's the $1 tier, there's the $5 tier, and then there's the $10 tier. Right now, the $5 and $10 tiers get podcasts by our different podcasters, and they also get, of course, Earth Station 1, Earth Station Who, and the Dragon Con report 48 hours before the rest of the general public. But if you do go to the $1 level, you know, everyone can afford just whatever they can afford, and everything is so appreciated, Warriors Gate, that we really do, you know, we're giving you guys a brand new podcast monthly called the ESO Network Riffs. And we promise not to ever talk about Warriors Gate on that podcast. So it's pretty darn awesome. We have available for everyone the 1989 Batman that we did a couple weeks back. But in 2 weeks, we're going to be recording our second episode of it, and it's going to be available to all patrons. And it is going to be Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, Warrior's Gate. So it should be a lot of fun. And, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/ESO Network and just sign up, and you can get exclusive material too. And we actually have a couple Dragon Con panels that are going to be going up there in the next couple weeks, including the panel of mics. So I think
this week we're starting a fourth tier, which is the Warrior's Gate tier, which for a specific amount of money, we haven't decided yet. We'll stop saying Warrior's Gate.
Exactly. So we're also trying to pad time, because my mom always used to tell me, if you can't say something nice about someone or something, don't talk about it. So that's why we're always saying Warrior's Gate, because wow. So might as well jump in with both feet. There is no new Doctor Who news. So there
is some sad Doctor Who related news.
I was going to talk about that at the end of the episode.
You're going to end on a bad note. Well, wait a minute. We're talking about Warrior's Gate, so
yeah.
It's just
I thought
starting off bad, going downhill.
Exactly. Talking about Concave was going to be a little bit of an uphill thing, and an upkeep, because thinking about how bad this episode was. Oh boy. So let's jump in with both feet, and let's talk all about the end of the E-Space Trilogy, Warrior's Gate. And we are going back now to January 3rd to the 24th of 1981. Wow, that's going back quite a bit. And this is truthfully the beginning of the end for Tom, even, because you did say bye to Romana and K9, but Tom and Adric go back to regular space at the end of this episode. They go into Keeper of Traken and then go into Logopolis. So these are Tom's final three stories, literally. So,
yeah, well, Warrior's Gate, I think everyone was probably pretty happy to get out of there.
Oh, you think? It was a green screen special, Sure.
Well, they save on sets for part of it.
Well, it's kind of funny, though, because in all seriousness, we had talked about how Full Circle was Creature from the Black Lagoon. Then you had vampires in State of Decay. So this one you had werewolf dogmen, lion people.
Lion.
Yeah. Oh, my.
How rude.
Exactly.
Hey, maybe the only good thing we could say was the Lion Men makeup. Oh, wait.
Yeah. No.
I mean, usually at least there's something.
This story just didn't even... It made sense less this time watching it than when I was 13 watching it the first time.
The biggest thing this one had going for me was that the crew, you could tell from the very beginning of this one with the Kilroy was here graffiti and they're playing cards and not caring about a thing. It was that sense of authenticity, because I knew guys like this in the Navy. I knew like this entire crew when I was in the submarine force. So for me, I was just like, yeah, I can sympathize being out in the middle of nowhere with nothing to do.
I also think, certainly the way it begins, it's one of the most stylized episodes or stories I've ever seen of Doctor Who. The start of it, the long shot of the ships going from like room to room, seeing the graffiti on the walls and just creating that atmosphere. I was like, wow, I'm trying to think of a time when I saw like an episode of Doctor Who where they did like some sort of extended tracking shot, and I was like, this is pretty amazing. And it does a really good job at the beginning of it, to set the mood, and it quickly falls apart. But I did think that directing wise, that Paul Joyce had tried his best to make this to shine this turd up real good, like
he tried. Yeah, he is actually the one thing that was not as bad, we'll say. And that was a kind of a nice long establishing shot, except it like kept getting more and more obvious. They were just like using an abandoned building or something.
Well,
like,
yes. Oh, very much so.
Already been trying by the end of it.
You have like really different angles throughout, especially in the first episode, and then as we go on, we do see some shaky cam stuff. I mean, it does seem like I said, stylistically, this show was taking chances that like I hadn't seen before. Usually, it's just kind of like flat, static camera shots.
No, they must have gotten a new special effects machine or something that they wanted to play with at the BBC. They said, just give it to Doctor Who; they'll do something with it. So they used the multiple images of the Lion Men, or they gave the green screen, and so everything was basically Kodachromed in, and it was really bad, all the way back to when the TARDIS was leaving at the end, and Romana and the Lion Men were like looking up. There goes the Doctor. It's like, oh God.
Well, there were some things that I saw, like there was initially the images where Tom's walking in black and white photos behind him, like looked really cool. Like I thought some of that looked like pretty awesome, actually. And I actually thought the gate itself looked pretty cool, artistically. So I did like elements of this. I can't say that it was all bad. But that's why, I mean, stylistically and directing wise, I think that there was some really nice touches here. But by God, story wise, this is really bad. Like, this is the first time I'd seen this one. All right. So,
I'm so sorry.
Well, and I had known that, Tom's last year was pretty rough. Quite frankly, I didn't think there was going to be anything rougher than Leisure Hive.
Hold my beer. Hold on.
Exactly. Well, Warriors Gate says, hold my beer. Like, I was like, wow. Like, this is... Ooh.
This makes Warriors Gate makes Leisure Hive look like a masterpiece. And you haven't even seen the one with the giant cactus yet.
I'm just looking, I was struggling, through this whole thing, looking for something to kind of grasp and hold on to, but I just couldn't. Watching even the bonus material on the disc, where they talk about the making of it and everything like that. I mean, obviously there was issues, and I have to unequivocally, I think that's the word I'm looking for, like state now that I don't think he's a bad guy, but I just think that myself and script editor Stephen Bidmead are just two completely different people. Like a lot of times if he says something in the behind the scenes, like, this is really cool, this is really intense, I want to develop this, I'm like, I'm not going to like this.
Yeah, I don't know how John Nathan Turner survived his first season with how bad these stories were, truthfully.
Yeah. Well, he's got a lot of badness later on, too.
Oh, he does. He does.
Oh, yes.
But the thing is, can you imagine how much Chris Chibnall is getting torn apart because of this last season of Doctor Who? Look at, what John Nathan Turner did, his first season of Doctor Who too with Tom. These make the stories we watched with the current series look awesome. They made sense compared to this.
I mean, the current series was way better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And that, that's saying, I mean, like, look, I mean, Tom's in it, Lala's in it. So, I mean, it should have that going for it, right? But, they can't even.
They can't save it.
No, they can't. They can't. And they what's worse is they don't even try. Like,
no, they don't.
They've given up. you can tell everybody's given up.
Yeah, I think they're just like, eh.
Oh,
like,
hell,
yeah, we-
by the fourth episode, when they brought in that stupid machine to fire on the Warriors Gate, that, it felt like they got it from some prop room or something. Don't we have something left over from the Cybermen story in 1966?
There was, however, I'm trying to think of the actual scene. There's a shot of Tom, and I think it's the Fourth Doctor, where I think it's when he first encounters the ship crew when they come to the gate, and he's there, and after he's sort of wrestled with the robots and whatever, the knights, and he's talking to them, and he looks like he looks like, the way it's shot, he looks really tall and ominous, and that's the first time I can ever remember the Fourth Doctor looking that way. I really got a Phantom Stranger vibe from him, for those people who are familiar with DC Comics. He just seemed like or even the Shadow with the scarf and everything. Yeah, the pulp guy, the Shadow. It really seemed, I don't know, am I the only one to have noticed that? Crickets. Yes, I guess I was.
Yeah,
so,
sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, it only lasted 30 seconds. So it wasn't a big deal. That's how desperate I was to grab onto something in this. But no, I mean, I just thought, because Tom usually doesn't get, I mean, he's abrasive at times, but you don't see very many moments with the Fourth Doctor where he's pulling what happens later with much later, in New Who.
McCoy.
Where with Sylvester a little bit, and then later with New Who, where they're kind of this is your one chance, or and
David did it perfectly.
Yes, David did a great job, and some of the later ones do too, but you don't see that from the early Doctors that much, and I got the sense of Tom tapping into that for one brief second in this, and I was like, man, that would have been cool, but
yeah.
And there was just nothing likable about any of the characters in this story. And I'm going to go out and say the Doctor was the Doctor, Romana was Romana, K9 was backwards, and Adric was a waste.
Was annoying.
Yeah.
At least Adric wasn't in a lot.
But what he was in was really annoying. I mean,
really, really annoying.
Yeah, he was one of the worst parts about this.
No. Adric was not the worst thing about this.
I did not say he was the worst. I said he was one of the worst. No, I agree. Not the worst.
It's a really low bar when Adric isn't the worst thing in this episode.
Highlight. But yeah, I mean, it's just this. As far as the story goes, it's same old, same old. It's the evil of apathy and bureaucracy, and the characters are very one note.
Mm-hmm. They did touch on slavery a little bit and using.
I mean, they touched on it, but they don't explore it.
No, not at all.
There.
And then we get into
Lion Men. I mean, there's the twist with the Lion Men was just very clumsily done. I mean, that they had been the oppressors and then turned into the oppressed. Well, that's an interesting theme to explore, but they didn't go anywhere with it.
Exactly.
And the way they portrayed them going through the mirror and back in time was very convoluted. And I mean, I like the idea of them playing with time, but they did not do it in a good way.
No, it would have been at one point, I think I was wondering if what we saw was the past was really the future, and maybe it was circular, maybe it was both. And I was like, wow, that's a pretty cool concept, but they didn't explore that. That came from me. I was like, oh, okay, that's not what's happening here at all. This is just really sloppily done.
And I was really surprised about even how the regular cast seemed to be completely off. I mean, you can tell that the behind the scenes tensions between Lala Ward and Tom Baker are at an all-time high with this farewell. I mean, Doctor Who does not do farewells for companions well at all, but those two were downright frosty.
I don't think there's a scene where they look each other in the eyes at all.
No.
In the whole thing.
Hell, the goodbye on this was one of the weirdest ever.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, I'm staying with them, Doctor. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got flashbacks to when Leela left. I was like, no, I'm staying. I'm falling in love with it. What? Like, I just like, what?
I expected her to grab the Lion Man's hand or something.
Iraq is like, yeah, we need a Time Lord. I'm like, what?
Okay.
Where was this established?
Nowhere. Yeah, nothing's established in the story, and it's like a monotone.
The backgrounds.
And then and then to make matters worse, I know they're trying to send Lala Ward's character off, send Romana off and bring Adric in to start a new set of companions. But seriously, he starts this episode by just reaching over and start fiddling the controls when he shouldn't be able to fly the TARDIS to begin with. And then it was a personal hit against me when they're out in the middle of whatever the space is, the zero space, and K9 fritzes out, and he's just like, whatever, and walks away like, dude, you go back for that dog.
I will also, I'm trying to like just pan for gold here, or even like copper at this point. But I did think there was a scene where Romana greets the ship crew when they first approach the TARDIS, and she greets them, and she sort of playfully like is sort of trying to get information out of them while not giving them anything, and like not answering any of their questions and all that. And I did think that she was really good in that. Like she doesn't get a chance to do that very often. And I thought,
yeah, she was really.
This is one of my that might be one of my favorite Romana scenes, at least Lala's Romana scenes.
Yeah,
because I thought she's like, wow, she's really competent here, and then but a little while later, she gives the biggest scream that I've ever seen her give. I'm like, oh, yay, she's reduced to a screaming companion.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Or as you saw near the end, as they're trying to solve defeat the captain and everything, and she goes to the defense of beating him with a clipboard.
Right.
As you do. Yeah.
Right.
Of course.
I don't know.
What do you think of doing, beating up somebody with a clipboard? Well, there's a manager or two. No, never mind. I won't get into that. But yeah, there was just nothing great about this. It's like, well, that's 2 hours of my life I won't get back.
Yeah, it dragged. Man.
Yes.
Are you sure it wasn't about 5 or 6 hours? Because it just
that's why we didn't at the beginning of this episode give a spoiler warning, because there's no way we could spoil. It just, as a matter of fact, we're doing you a favor. If you haven't seen it, like, just listen to us talk about it. That you've saved yourself a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
We didn't do a spoiler warning, but we did definitely do a Warriors Gate warning.
Yeah, that's what we need. A warning: do not watch Warriors Gate.
I mean, I'm not even sure why the robots were there. I mean, the Gundam style. They didn't. They did not serve much of a purpose story-wise. They dumped some clumsy exposition on us. That's all they did. That was the only reason they were there. They moved, I think, in slow motion. So anyone could have gotten away from them. They were supposed to be the scourge that, took over the oppressors, the Lion Men, and enslaved them. And yeah, they were not menacing at all.
I don't know, when that one took off, it made me laugh.
It was kind of rough how they woke the Lion Men, though, by electrocuting them, basically, and frying them.
Oh, man, that was awful. Yeah, that's grim. They showed them being tortured and being slaughtered, and in a pretty nasty way.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like, why? There wasn't, like I said, it's like those two soldiers or whatever, the maintenance guys, like, we got something else to do. You do this. And it's like, okay. And then just the frying and the screaming, it was just like, they have to do that to each and every one of them? Jesus.
And they did it without a thought. They're like, nobody protested.
Well, that got into the whole slavery thing, because that's what it used to be. They were not on the same level as those people.
Well, to be fair, like the two maintenance guys, that we do see, the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern of the episode. They like one of them does like leave and says, "I can't take this. I can't."
Yeah, that almost to me makes it worse because
no, I get it, but
they were just apathetic.
Yeah, they were just like they couldn't. They didn't seem to be ashamed of what they were doing. They just seemed like it was just making them nauseous.
Yeah, I mean, and the more of them that survive, the more the cat people that survive, the better their pay is at the end of the day. Yeah. They established that in the first 10 minutes. So to me, it felt like they were not necessarily apathetic. It was just like, we do what we need to do because I'm getting paid at the end of this. And that made them even worse, in my opinion.
Yeah. No. When they all go up in the end, I mean, we don't really care.
No, not at all. It's like, oh, they left, they died, boo. Boo-hoo.
And when they go up in a backblast, I'm like, really? Is that a term we want to use? Is that like a real term? I don't think so. Like, that seems like a pretty bad term.
I'm glad Darren's not on the show tonight, like last night, because he would have had a lot of fun with that term.
Somebody should have.
There's a Taco Bell joke.
Oh, of course. They were trying to make that run for the border.
I mean, yeah, the best part of the episode is when the ship blows up and everybody dies. Yep, good. No loss there.
Yeah, so it's even though it comes as a surprise because story-wise and character-wise it comes out of nowhere, I certainly don't blame Romana for being like, yeah, check please, I'm done. Like this is the breaking point. This is where I'm like, I'm done.
I wasn't sad to see K9 go. I really wasn't, because it just looked like, okay, how could K9 break down in this storyline?
Yeah, but that's all he was doing in the last few stories. And it was just annoying.
Yeah, and they were just like lifting him like he was a lunchbox.
Yeah.
I was like, they're just like, everyone, they just pick him up like.
And they were tossing him a lot around.
Yeah. So much for establishing he's this heavy mechanical thing. I mean, they weren't even trying. That's the thing about this episode. No, but I mean, I think the poor director was trying, but nobody else was.
Yeah, I think everybody else was clocking out.
It almost felt like we should be hearing the Doors, the end, or something like that. Yeah. Someone was waiting to knock 4 times. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it just was a really bad story, and there's no way I could even recommend this to anybody.
No, this is about as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. I mean, and I guess, talking about the E-Space Trilogy as a whole, I didn't think that the first 2 episodes were horrible. As a matter of fact, like I said, I liked last week. So the last one we did, the second one. But yeah, it just ends on a stinker. And I don't think they ever really gave us a really cool explanation of what E-Space was, as opposed to N-Space. I guess that stands for normal space.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of like crazy, like N-Space, E-Space.
Yeah, like I'm like, those are random letters.
Yeah. And, I'm not shocked that, Adric didn't care if he went back to his people. He saw how he reacted when his brother died. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think Adric's a bit of a sociopath.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we do get a little bit of douchebag Adric in this, which is cool. But he's not vampiric, but there are points where he's like, why do we care? Why don't we just leave? And it's a good question at this point. It's like, really? Why don't we just leave?
Exactly. We can make it back to normal space. Why not go? We're stuck in between. Ugh. Yeah. All right. I don't want to go down this path anymore. Any final thoughts before we go ahead and rate this one?
The episode sucked.
Mary summed it up perfectly.
All right. So not to do with this story, but I am curious because I'm not familiar enough with the expanded universe, the Big Finish enough to know. I do know that in Big Finish, Romana becomes president of Gallifrey. Does anybody know how she gets there from here?
And the crickets hit.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she.
Do they even acknowledge that this happened? Like,
I'm not sure. Is there one where she becomes president of Gallifrey? Because I've never.
Yeah, and actually, then she regenerates into what's her name, Julia?
Well, yeah, because
I mean, I know she is in some of them, but I can't. Do you know the name of the one where she becomes?
That's the thing. I don't know how she becomes president because, like, the only one that I've personally listened to where she's president is when we listened to the Eighth Doctor version of Shada. Like she's
right in some other ones.
If the internet is to be believed, she left.
A big if.
Right, she left E-Space and returned to N-Space in Blood Harvest, one of the books, and then her ascendancy was in something called Goth Opera or Happy Endings, one of those two novels.
Okay, I wondered if it actually started in the books.
I don't know, but they are acknowledging E-Space even further because I guess they're doing some filler stuff here in the future with Big Finish, and they're bringing back Tom and Lala and everybody to fill their roles again and doing some E-Space story.
With Adric?
Joy!
Like more stories.
Yeah, even with Adric. Yeah,
I could perhaps understand the want to do it.
I don't know.
Because people demanded it.
I just read the news.
So maybe this one will be the one with Frankenstein's monster in it, right?
Because of its overwhelming popularity.
Ouch. I can't co-sign on that. I feel less excited to listen to those.
Well, I could tell you we won't be doing reviews real quickly for that with on the podcast. Well, maybe right before we do Trial of the Time Lord, we'll go there.
Right.
I also, although, it's kind of a cute comment when the Fourth Doctor says, "You were the noblest Romana of all." I thought, well, screw you. Mary was cool. Like,
yeah.
Don't diss Mary Tam. Like, I thought she was pretty awesome. I mean, maybe she wasn't quote unquote noble, but I don't know. I also really dug Lala's outfit in this one.
Oh, the red top and the.
Well, just the Asian influence that she was wearing. Man, she can. And there is a, I was thinking about this even before, but there's a featurette on the DVD about her costumes over her tenure as Romana. But Lala had some pretty interesting outfits throughout her run, from schoolgirl to like pink doctor, jacket with scarf look to like all sorts of things, and she always made them work. She just has that. Lala has that like schoolgirl, like kind of like girl next door that she can sort of pull off like model stuff too. So she looked really comfortable. Let's put it that way.
That's fair. That is definitely fair. All right, before we get into become a fashion podcast, let's go ahead and rate this. 1 out of 5 TARDISes. This is going to be an interesting one, folks. Michael Falkner, you get to go first.
Okay, so this is a really interesting story here because, like, when I first reviewed this for the Timestamps Project, I focused a lot more on the philosophical nature of it and the feeling that I got from the crew, the atmosphere of it, and then kind of giving them the props for, okay, you tried. You tried with the slavery thing. You tried with all this other stuff. You even tried to make a mind-bendy, twisty, time travel-y thing. And I gave it a 4 then. And I think it was because I rounded up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Were you out of 10? No. Out of 100?
I'm looking back on that now, and I'm thinking, what was I on?
Were you on like cold medicine or something?
I don't know. So I'm looking at it now, and I almost fell asleep a few times watching it for this discussion we're having. I don't know what I saw in it then. I'm going to level out with the 2.75, and that's being generous.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Mike Gordon.
Whew. I can't go above a 1 on this one. I just can't. I don't care if I never see it again. I will give it 1 simply because Tom and Lala are in it, and I will give it a 1 based on the directing style that of some of the shots that I have really enjoyed, and that scene with Romana that I liked a lot, and that's it. That's pretty bad. So a lot of listeners will probably be wondering, well, Mike, what do you think? Is it better than Ghostlight? Ooh, that's a tough call.
Yes.
But I do think that it is worse than Ghostlight.
Oh,
so I will put Ghostlight above this one because I think I gave Ghostlight a 2.
I think you did.
The only other one that I can think of that I tore apart that I didn't like it, like as far as the whole run of Doctor Who was the Mel episode, right? No, the one with the Ronnie.
Oh, Time in the Ronnie?
Yeah, where I fell asleep when we were watching it. Like multiple times. And that one was better than this. Like this is just this is a 1.
Okay. Mary.
Oh boy. I think I'm going to give it a 1.5, and that is being extremely generous, according to me.
Why are you all being generous?
Yeah, mostly because I think the director was trying so hard, and I feel bad for him. And that one scene with Romana and the guards. But it's, most of it's just monotone and annoying and an extremely clumsy story. And bad acting. Bad in the sense that they're not trying. That they're just sort of walking through it. And I mean, nobody is trying. So it's a slog to get through this. I mean, boy, I was really forcing myself to watch this thing. So yeah, I can't. That extra 0.5 is me just being a nice person. Because it's pretty bad, people. I don't recommend it at all, I have to say.
Awesome. This is tough for me because I always say even bad Doctor Who is better than pretty much anything else out there until this episode. So I always say I'm never really going to go below a 3. I'm going to have to be on Mary's level and go down to a 1.5.
Ooh.
And say it is even worse than I remember. And they should be ashamed of doing this story, especially when it's a farewell to a companion. And a good companion at that.
Yeah, she really did not get what she deserved.
No, not at all. So I think, they should be ashamed of themselves. And I'm glad I don't probably ever have to see this one again. Unless there's a circle of hell that you have to continuously watch it. Yes, or something like that.
If you're not good, this is where you go.
I know, I'm in trouble, I guess. If I go to the afterlife and it says, now playing Warrior's Gate.
And nothing else.
Exactly.
Until,
you have this,
until Ghostlight comes back, Mike.
You have this huge library of DVDs and Blu-rays, and they're all Warrior's Gate. You switch on the TV, and every channel is Warrior's Gate.
Gate.
You have to walk through a mirror to get into that level of hell, and it's just a giant sign. Warrior's Gate, welcome.
Backwards.
Right. There's a cat sitting there waiting for you.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the type of episode where I'm angry when I think about it because it was so bad. And it was, after the first one, I'm like, yeah, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But then as it went along, man, wow. It's Doctor Who, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yes, truly. Speaking of, we're done with that. So let's go on to some sad news, but makes us feel a little bit better. So basically, we got some really sad news about Concaster Burris this last week because of health issues with some of the staff and the people running the show. They have decided to cancel the show for 2019. And it's just kind of sad because we were planning on being there as our Station Who, and we had already lined up a couple of interviews. And I was actually really looking forward to meeting the guest of honor, Sean Pertwee. So Bonnie and her crew have always been really good to the folks at our Station Who. And, you know, Matthew and then the rest, they always were very attentive, very welcoming. And this would have been our 5th year attending. So we just found out earlier this week. So sadly enough, there is no Concaster Burris this year. So literally, it's
and as much as it pains us not to go, because it really is painful and it sucks. I think it's also important to notice that, you know, what Bonnie and is going through and everything like that, we wish her nothing but like the best, because what she's been going through has been really tough personally, and it was just impossible for her to put on a convention as well. And so you know, hopefully that she can get through it okay, and we, you know, we're all here for her if she needs us.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully they'll come back in 2020. The sad thing is, once you stop doing a con, it's kind of hard to get back in a lot of ways. But I know if anybody can do it, they can.
Yeah, and they were being very forthright about the reasoning for it. They were being upfront about all of it. You know, there was nothing hidden there. And you know, I have never attended that show, but just reading that news and seeing her statements, you know, I fall in the same boat with you guys. You know, it's tough stuff to have to deal with all that. And I'm glad they're handling it the way they can. And I'm glad they're looking to the future and saying, you know, if the time comes again, we can do this, we're on. But we need to take care of ourselves first.
Exactly. And that's what you need to do. Take care of yourselves. And, you know, that's one of the big things that you should always pay attention to is your health and your mental health, your physical health, and those around you, and take it all into effect. So Con-K will be missed this year, but hopefully they'll be back, and we will be there right by their side, no matter when or where. Our Station Who will be there. All right.
That means that the you know, the big Southeast Doctor Who convention is Wholanta, which will be its last. So yeah, some pretty bittersweet Doctor Who conventioning this summer.
DragonCon, you better pick up the slack. I want to see 3 doctors there this year.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to bring back the entire cast of Warriors Gate.
Yes,
Warriors Gate reunion. Woohoo!
We're all dressing up as lion men.
Yeah, how long does that cosplay take to put together? I've got a few days left, right?
Okay. On that note, let's wrap up this episode. Thank everybody for being here. Mike Falkner, thank you, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me one more time for the E-Space Trilogy. I appreciate it.
Yes, thanks for joining us in E-Space. I guess we'll call this Falkner Space.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Why don't we just call it Mike Space?
No, because that's, yeah. No.
There's 3 of us. It should be Mike Space.
It's M Space.
Yeah.
M Space. We're all M's.
Yeah. There you go.
There you
Look,
go.
I'm not, as much as I like Lala Ward, I'm not sticking around with Romana here. I'm going back to N Space.
Screw M. I'm going to N. He's going to be Nike Faber from now on, or Nike Gordon.
Nike.
And Nike Falkner.
Just do it.
Exactly. Well, it's better than Neri Ogle. Boy, okay. Mike, thank you, my friend. And anything you want to promote?
The Timestamps project is still ongoing. As we are discussing here, I'm just about ready to publish Fear Her from the second season of the New Who era. It's with the 10th Doctor.
I'm sorry.
And, well, the good news for Fear Her is that I'm right around the corner from, was it Doomsday and Army of Ghosts? So,
such goodness. Goodness.
That is a good set of episodes, and it does mean farewell to Rose, which I know that you appreciate. So,
yeah. I'm sorry.
Well, faux farewell to Rose.
I mean, until they give her a doctor to play with, a meta doctor or whatever it is, but that's down the road.
Well, every season when they say, "I wonder what's going to be happening," I hear Rose is going to be coming back. No.
Almost all of my Tom Baker DVDs must have been published around the same time, because they all start with that trailer for the season of the 10th Doctor with Donna in it. And so I see that trailer over and over. Like I saw it for the last 3 episodes that we did E-Space, because it's like that trailer one. Like I just see that trailer a lot, and it's a well put together trailer, but yes, we do see all the companions, including Rose.
Yes, I know. And Mary, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I think.
Warriors Gate.
So anything you got to promote? Warriors Gate?
You can find me at maryogle.com or on Etsy at eVision Arts. Warriors Gate.
Boom, she threw down her hat. That's it. And Mr. Mike, thank you, my friend.
As always, even now, it's my pleasure. This just proves the adage that no matter how good or bad the episodes of Doctor Who can be, it's always fun talking to you guys about it.
So true. So true. And it is great talking to you guys. I just like talking to you folks, which is good. And, as a little bit of a reminder, 3 of us here on the podcast tonight will be at the South Carolina Comic-Con this weekend. We will be doing a couple panels, and no Warriors Gate mentioned at that con.
Is that a special announcement?
No.
Warriors Gate panel.
Yes, we're talking all about Warriors Gate. Please come to the Greenville Convention Center March 28th at 10 p.m. to see us talk about Warriors Gate.
Dressed as lions.
Exactly. And make sure you come dressed as a lion.
Cosplay.
Now you say that. There are fans of the E-Space Trilogy. They're going to be out there waiting for us, knocking on the door. Where's Mike and Mike? We're going to talk about E-Space and Warriors Gate, and they're not here. That's it.
If there are fans of E-Space, they're going to be there. They're going to be wanting to see us because they want to throw rocks at us.
Exactly. That is so true. That, or they'll be throwing K9s at us.
Well, apparently he only weighs about 5 ounces.
It looks like it. So it's not so bad. But yeah, if you're in Greenville this weekend, which is the 9th and 10th of March, please stop by. We'll have Mike and I have tables, table 524 and 525. Mike will be there with Tiki Zombie, and we'll be there with the ESO Network. So definitely come by. Tell us your favorite Doctor Who episode. And if it was Warriors Gate, we're so sorry. So definitely check us out. We will be back again in 2 weeks when we are going to be talking all about the first Doctor. That's right. We are going to be talking all about the War Machines. So it should be a lot of fun to do. And I think, is that the storyline, I think, that introduces Ben and Polly to Doctor Who?
I think so.
So that's kind of cool, because that's the beginning of the end for the first Doctor. So, because that's his last 2 companions. So pretty cool stuff. And, definitely, hopefully you guys enjoyed us talking Warriors Gate tonight. We will see you here next time on the Earth Station Who podcast. Peace. And we're done. Boom.
Warriors Gate.
Ta-da.
Wow.
Wouldn't it suck if I didn't hit record? No.
No.
You have been listening to Earth Station Who, a bi-weekly pop culture podcast dedicated to all things Doctor Who, featuring talents from across the universe. All topics on the show are the sole opinions of the individual and are used for entertainment value alone. You subscribe to our podcast up on iTunes, Stitcher, or follow our blog at www.esopodcast.com. You can also follow us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. If you enjoyed the show, please leave feedback up on iTunes.
Are you looking for a podcast that's a little bit out of the ordinary, a little bit crazy, and a little bit on the rambunctious side? Well, if I got something for you, it's called Vitamin Geek Podcast. My name's Corey Keelan. I'm the host and creator of Vitamin Geek Podcast, and I'm here to invite you to listen to my show. Each episode, I'm coming to you with whatever I think is important at the time. Maybe it's a new movie, maybe it's a comic book, maybe it's horror, maybe it's drag queens. Who knows? I love to talk, and I just love to get you guys involved in the conversation. I invite you all to check out my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Vitamin Geek Podcast. I would love to hear your feedback. So please join me and check us out here, Vitamin Geek Podcast, here on the ESO Network.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping through Amazon.com or the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.